In love with Paris. A little between the top three. Senorita Bonita making its way along. Jade McNaught with a double today along with William Pike. There's the signal. They're ready. 1400 ahead of them. They're racing. Cup Night back last as they get going, and Nelson's Flight clearly won the start over Senorita Bonita. Dawn Amata. Spillanova's going to rush up there and be right on top of the speed early on. And In Love with Paris settled back behind those. Fifth joined now by Peppy Jack. The pace right on here. Senorita Bonita to the top by a length. Spillanova settling down. Nelson's Flight third. Peppy Jack fourth. Back on the inside. Dawn Amata. In Love with Paris next. 2 lengths behind those. The Greys push to pass. Special Delivery. Second last is Cup Night when they wheel off the back, going out by the 800, and with it the stayer Dark Musket. Along to the side they go. Senorita Bonita. The Goldfields Galloper leads the way from Spillanova. Nelson's Flight down on the inside, travelling in third place at the 600. Peppy Jack's had a good run up behind those coming to the home corner. A length and a half to Dawn Amata and In Love with Paris, who's midfield about to go. Then came Push to Pass. Special Delivery. Cup Night is well off them. 7 or 8 lengths from these leaders coming to the outside with his run. Into the straight. Spillanova reached the lead from Senorita Bonita. Peppy Jack In Love with Paris. And here comes Cup Night now. He's starting to wither down the outside with his run. Cup Night In Love with Paris. The roughie Peppy Jack's there from Spillanova. It's Cup Night. Peppy Jack In Love with Paris in the middle. Peppy Jack. Cup Night. Cup Night on the outside. He's got them. Cup Night. Too good. There's a great win. Cup Night beat Peppy Jack. A big effort. Tight for third. Nelson's Flight flew. It's there with In Love with Paris and Spillanova in that battle for the minors. Right behind them, Push to Pass, Dark Musket. Then Special Delivery, Dawn Amata, and knocking up Senorita Bonita. Big finishing burst, Pat Carberry, Cool Ride. He was back there, near enough to last at the top of the home straight. Angled him to the outside, and he saved him up. And he knew exactly what he had underneath of him. Cup Night, second up. He was back, cooled off last coming into the straight. And Pat, hands and heels, after angling him to the outside, has cut them down. They'd got away from him on the corner, but he didn't seem too flustered nor concerned. He shook him up and he responded to it when Carberry said, now go. He got to Peppy Jack, which has run a terrific race at odds. Nelson's Flight was pushing through between Spillanova and In Love with Paris was there all the way after getting a great run throughout. But too good for them here. Cup Night by Machino from Walk in Beauty for the Bells Park Syndicate, managed by Bernie Miller, along with Mrs. Jess Carberry, JJ Carberry, Ms. A. Carberry, D. Carberry, Ms. L. Carberry, and it was Paddy Carberry aboard for Bernie Miller. Cup Night winning its 6th race in 15. Second up, too good here. 11 second, Peppy Jack. Run a terrific race on returning by Henny Hughes out of Peppy's Pride, Jimmy Grieve and Troy Turner. And 3, In Love with Paris, has held third just by Regano from Paris Cracker. Trained by Fred Kersley for the Oakland Park stud. Paul Harvey there in the saddle. 4th, number 9, Nelson's Flight, getting through after getting held up. And Spillanova is 5th, 4:11.39. Time 1:23.49, 35.55. Concluding 600, half a length, a long neck margins there after the running of the Crown Perth Handicap. Smart winner, this fellow. Raconteur Stakes winner. Back as a 4-year-old, he wins his first race in 2 starts this campaign. The last event at 5 o'clock, the 1200 pre-fashion platform handicap. And no changes there to the last race for the day. Gets a well-deserved pat on the neck from Paddy Carberry. A pat from Pat as we take you down there to Britt.
A really lovely touch, isn't it, Darren? And we know what this horse means to Paddy Carberry because his entire family is involved in the ownership as they begin to run out and go to lead in Cup Night. It's a wonderful family affair between the Millers and the Carberrys, and so great to see them be successful here with Cup Night. We spoke to Bernie Miller pre-race and he indicated that the horse had come on a lot from that first up run, 4 or 5 lengths. Bernie now coming into the yard. We'll have a chat. Bernie, we spoke to you pre-race. You knew the horse had come on a little bit, but gee, you must have been really pleased to see that.
Yeah, that was sensational, mate. Just shows what the little bloke's got. He's got the will to win. he can switch off. He's going to be a little professional very shortly.
Makes for a really nice racehorse, doesn't it? Ones that can just switch off in running and then do what they need to do when they're asked of it. You said that you left it completely up to Paddy. How were you feeling when you saw him out the back?
Didn't worry. Honestly, I didn't worry. It's just, like I say, he can switch off, and when asked, he can just go his sectionals and then, you know, switch off again if he needs to be. So one day, you know, Pat will put him in a position, he'll switch off and it'll be completely different again. But that's how good this little horse is.
We can hear this wonderful cheer behind us from both the Millers and the Carberries. What a wonderful family affair this is.
Yeah, it's good. It was been planned for quite some time, and Paddy and I talked about getting the family into one of the horses that we breed, and this is the little bloke, and I couldn't have been happier, I tell you.
I'm sure you are. And what are the plans for this horse going forward in terms of this preparation? Are there some key aims that you have?
No, there's not. All I want to do is get this little bloke through his grades. I want to do that so he builds in confidence, and down the track, if I go to the birthday stakes next week and we happen to win it, well, he's going to get graded with, so, you know, he's just going to be outgraded. Yeah. So let's be patient, not be greedy, put him through another ratings race, and tackle the better stuff later on. And it's like, to me, that's being smart.
It certainly is, and it's a nice approach, and there's good prize money in these ratings races, so well done on this victory.
Thank you very much, and thanks.
Bernie Miller joining me with the trainer of Cup Night, and now I'll speak to Paddy Carberry. And Paddy, I know any win's good, but when you win on this horse Cup Night and you come in to your wife, your daughter, your family all cheering, make it that little extra special for you?
Yeah, it's always special to ride winners for Bernie and Karen, but makes it more special, as I've said in the past, you know, with everyone else in it, with the family. And my brother and his wife aren't here today, they're in Melbourne, but I told him we'd be able to do it without him. And he sort of flopped out the gates a little bit, but I just left him alone, and he wasn't getting a real great cut up into it, but once he got to the outside, I was pretty confident he was going to cover him. He ran around a little bit at the 150 when I was sort of going to ask him to finish right off. So he's still got a fair bit to learn, which I've thought that for a while. And, you know, now he's mixing it with the big boys. He's not just against his own age group. But in 12 months' time, he's going to be a serious horse.
It's pretty exciting that there is still that upside. Today, the way he relaxes, does he feel like he's just going to get better as he gets over more ground?
I guess now he's racing against the older horses. They're generally more genuine speed, but in those 3-year-old races, you know, they were quite small fields, and it's a bit more tactical and a bit more stop-start. He's always, pretty much in every one of his runs, he's always run the quickest sectional, and I'm sure he's done the same again today. But I think in time, I think he'll get a mile, I think, you know, a strong mile. But we know he's got pace to be on the speed, but his best asset is switching off and his turn of foot. He's got a super 250, 300 metres, and if we keep riding him that way, he'll eventually get a mile. But how far he goes will depend on Bernie, what he wants to do, and how the horse goes and what the horse tells us. But you know, how far, whatever he goes. Hey, baby.
Come in, Ariana. Are you pretty proud of Dad? Yes. Yeah.
The only way to get her quiet is put the microphone there.
I know, because usually she is a chatterbox. She loves to have a chat. That is just a beautiful touch. Well done, Paddy.
All right, thanks very much. Cheers.
Paddy Carberry and his daughter Ariana jumping in to say congratulations to Dad. Cup Night takes out race 8.